pooed? I think you have. You're disgusting. Hello, it's me, Caroline. I'm back with a video for you. This video today, I'm going to be discussing 10 things, I think it's 10 things, 10 things, which I have found incredibly useful over the past 5 months to help with having a baby. I have a son, he's sitting down here, his name is Ellis, he's 5 months old, and all these things I've got laid out in front of me, I found very useful, some more than others, but nonetheless, I found them all very useful. And obviously the things I'm about to show are not all necessities, you don't need these things if you're having a baby. They're just things I've found really great over the past 5 months, and I'm sure some of them I can probably continue using for a lot longer. Let me get into it. This baby is super chatty. So the first thing I have to show is this. It's a stain remover. It's by the brand Astonish, which is, if you didn't know, vegan and cruelty free, which is why I like it, because if you didn't know, I am vegan. My family is vegan. Baby poo stains. There's been a fair few occasions where Ellis has had a poo explosion and the poo has gone on his vest, on his trousers, on whatever else is near his nether regions, and the baby poo does not come out in the normal wash. So you have to have something a bit stronger. So I use Astonish and it works. The other day I used it on a grey vest because he had a massive poo explosion in Tesco's. That was fun, thanks for that, mate. And I was sure the poo wouldn't come out because there was quite a lot of it. Sorry if you're eating your dinner or whatever you're doing, and this disgusts you. But either way, I use Astonish on it and the poop is gone. Although, the one thing that worries me about this product is I think it may bleach clothes slightly. The grey vest I used the other day came out grey still, but there were a couple of bleach spots on it. So I'm apprehensive to use it on my favourite pair of rainbow leggings that Ellis wore, which have poo on them, and I don't want them to be ruined. But yeah, joys of babies. You buy them nice things and they ruin them. Anyway, next thing, a feeding pillow. Whether you're breastfeeding or bottle feeding, I highly recommend you get a feeding pillow. I have one, which I will insert a clip now. And a feeding pillow will hold the baby for you. Obviously, you still have to hold it up. It's not magic, but it does do the job of supporting the baby, so your arms don't have to do the job. Something that we didn't realise would be as useful as it ended up being is a mobile that goes over the changing mat. When babies are first born, they can't really see very far. But when we would change Ellis when he was first newborn, he could see something above him when we were changing, and he hated having his nappy changed, like with a passion. He would scream bloody murder, and he would sometimes get fixated by this mobile and stop crying, which is very useful. Our one is up themed. Sean made it. I'll insert a clip of it here. Sean made it with some wood and our sums, and it's become very, very useful. Even now, he doesn't stare at it as much anymore, but he does like looking at the bright colours. When we hold him up against it, he's really sort of fascinated and tries to grab them, don't you? He does really like it. Again, it's something that's really random that I would never think that you would need. You probably don't really need it, but it has made our lives a whole lot easier with a baby because it stops him screaming sometimes. Again, this next thing is something that it depends on your baby, but every baby when they're born has a thing called the Startle reflex, which basically means if they're lying down in their cot and there's, you could close the door a little bit louder than usual, you could drop something, I don't know, just a loudish noise can startle them. And sometimes they'll stay asleep and that'll be fine. Sometimes they'll go and wake up immediately, and it's very irritating, especially when you spend a long time trying to get them to sleep. Sometimes you can be rocking them to sleep and then you'll put them down in their cot and the feeling of being sort of let go of will startle them and wake up, which is very annoying. And some people combat that by swaddling, and you can just use like a muslin cloth to swaddle with no issues at all. Ellis didn't like being swaddled because he liked sleeping with his arms up. And so the best thing we found were these swaddles here, and they're called Love to Dream swaddles. And basically they zip up with their arms up above their heads, which was so useful for him. Doesn't necessarily need them much anymore because he sleeps with his arms out and doesn't have the reflex anymore. Reflex anymore. So he doesn't get startled by that. He just wakes up any day, any time he feels like now. I bought mine Love to Dream sort of second hand because they are not cheap, brand new. I will say that right now. They're far too expensive. So do look on things like Facebook Marketplace and local sell or swap groups in your area, because if someone's selling them cheaper, get them instead. Oh, battery died, so God knows what I've done to the background, but I'm sure we'll all survive. The next thing I have is sanitizing water, wipes, I don't know what. Basically, there's these things called Milton wipes, which are biodegradable wipes. So they have no they have plastic in them? Well, they're 100% biodegradable wipes. Obviously the packaging is not plastic free, which is the problem. And then, which Ellis is eating, is this water here, which is sanitizing water. The nozzle is this end, by the way, so he's not going to square himself in the mouth with it. Basically, I found these wipes from Tesco's, which I use for Ellis's dummy and any other various things that he puts in his mouth on a regular basis. I bought these because I needed them, but I don't particularly like using wipes. They're not the best, obviously, for the environment, and they are 100% biodegradable, but even so, yeah, there's that. So then I found this Vital Baby. I bought this from Mothercare. Obviously Mothercare is now closed down, but I'm sure you'll be able to buy this on Amazon or somewhere similar. I'll have a look, see. See, I'm putting it on the screen now where else you can buy it from. But this is sanitizing water. You can spray it on whatever needs sanitizing, and you don't have to rinse it, you don't have to wipe it away. Literally just spray and go, which obviously if you are going to use a dummy, that's very useful, because the amount of times that Ellis has spat his dummy onto the floor, especially when we have a pet as well, we have a dog, and that's disgusting. We don't want to be putting that back in his mouth until it's been cleaned. So yeah, I think these are really useful. So this spray is obviously better for the environment, because obviously you get more in it than plastic wipes. But anyway, one of the best discoveries I found is this video here. It's called Baby Sensory, and it is just some black and red dots floating around on the screen with some classical music behind it, and it is a lifesaver. This thing was recommended to me by my friend Gabby. I will link her Instagram down below. She's called Little Briar Rose on Instagram, and this thing is just, this video is incredible. I don't know what sort of magic powers it has, but there's been times when Ellis has been screaming bloody murder for pretty much no reason at all, just because he feels like it. And I'll get this video out on my phone, put it in front of his face, and he will stop crying immediately. He'll become mesmerised by these dots flying around on the screen. Obviously, if you don't want to use a screen for your baby, this wouldn't work for you. On the other hand, I'm just someone who thinks, as long as it makes my child quiet for 5 minutes, that's very useful. We've used it in the car before. If Sean's been driving, I've sat in the back and he's been screaming, I'll just, you know, bung the video in front of his face, because it then saves, you know, I find driving with a screaming baby quite challenging sometimes. So that's been useful. Also, I've been out and about with friends and family in a restaurant or something. Ugh. I can use it as a way to stop him screaming. Don't use it all the time, don't worry, but it's a very useful trick. If you're ever in a sticky situation, like now, maybe I should use it on you now. See if it works. It's worked. Right, the next couple of things come hand in hand, and they are pretty much only useful if your child ends up catching a cold. Snotty baby is a grumpy baby, and it is no fun at all having a baby with a cold. Obviously as well, because they're stressed out, they can't breathe, they don't know why, they don't know how to fix it. So these two things were very useful. The first thing is called a Nosefrida, and I have never used this. Sean has, because I cannot stomach it. It makes me sick the thought of it. Oh! Makes me sick the thought of it. Basically, it's a tube. It's a tube you put at the bottom of your child's nose, and you suck, and all the snot and stuff gathers into a central reserve. It doesn't. It won't go into your mouth, but the sound it makes me heave. But it does really work. When Ellis had a cold last year, it works a treat, but I can't use it. It makes me feel sick, the thought of it. I just can't do snot very well. So yeah, It's great. I really recommend it. I mean, you don't have to get the Nosefrida. There's a couple of different brands. My one is the Nosefrida. Yeah, I do recommend it. It will help you if your child has a cold, but you just have to have a strong stomach because it's disgusting. And the next thing is this thing here. This is an air humidifier? I think it's what it is. Basically, it squirts out water in a mist form, and you can put some sort of vapor rub style drops in them. We have ones called Snuffle baby, and basically it helps with the dryness in a bedroom or wherever the baby's sleeping, and it helps moisten the air, and so blocked noses become not so blocked. So I do really recommend it. It wasn't that much money. We got it off Amazon. It is a USB plug-in though, so it's not for your bog standard wall sockets, which is not obviously easy for everyone. Ugh, God. Something I hadn't thought about at all until after Ellis was born is that when you change a baby at night, you have to be able to see, and turning on the big light, the ceiling light, will wake you up, your husband, your partner up, and also the baby, more importantly the baby I should say, and that's not what you want. So we ended up buying a couple of night lights which clipped onto the sides of the changing table and our bed. So if I needed to see anything, change him, whatever, I could just turn these lights on without waking the whole house up, and it meant that I could change him easily. I did change him a couple of times in the dark. Not advisable, especially if they've done a poo, because that's hard. Yeah, the night light is something I really do recommend actually. Another thing that wasn't on the list, a strap for your dummy. If you're going to use a dummy, get a clip which clips onto their clothes, because they spit them out and that's not ideal. Also, I do recommend the MAM dummies because they glow in the dark. That is very useful at night. Yeah, right. He's getting tired, the light's going, I've been talking for far too long, but really not about anything useful at all. The last couple of bits are toys. Obviously you want to buy toys. These are my favourite. One, you can see it here, it's Mizzy the kangaroo. He was using her earlier. Mizzy the kangaroo is the Australian version of Sophie the giraffe, which we have here in the UK. I bought Mizzy from a baby show a few months ago, and Ellis loves her, don't you? You love Mizzy. He loves chewing on her. The sound of babies chewing on rubber makes my skin crawl, but he likes it, so therefore I'm just going to have to put up with it. Mizzy the giraffe, Mizzy the kangaroo, Sophie the giraffe. You can also get Gertie the goose, a rubber animal. They're great. Speaking of Sophie the giraffe, this here is Sophie. This is a teething thing, which is better for babies this age because they can hold on to, can hold on to it a bit better than some of the other bigger teething things I have. See, look, modelled so well. The last thing, toy, which has been amazing, we got this for Christmas from Sean's brother, is this newspaper. It's basically like crinkly sounds, like ASMR, isn't it? Ooh. And Ellis loves this. Obviously you can get various toys of all sorts of things, but this is great. It's light enough to be able to be thrown about by babies. The noise is pleasurable for me as well. It's not too obnoxious like some of the toys are. And he likes it. It's got words on it so you can read him a quick story. Not that I've ever really read him a story because he doesn't care. And yeah, that's it really. I'm going to stop talking now because I've been rambling for too long. I'm not sure if anything I've said has made any sense at all. I will link as much as I can do below. I'm sorry this video has been so crap. Didn't realise that filming with a baby would be as tricky as it was. I thought he would sit quietly in the corner. Ha ha ha, stupid mum. Anyway, until next time, I'll come back with a video that's not so haphazard. She said, lying probably. And I'll see you next time. Say bye, Alice. Bye, Alice. Have you pooed? I think you have. You're disgusting. Okay, bye.